You get ready to hit, because I can trim the front off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this will be a demo on metal casting. What I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull this molding bench open in a little bit here, and then we have these parts here that you're going to see when I do a screencastify of the whole Google presentation. And then, so we have a cope and drag. Here's our flask. I'll be getting that out. And then we have some molding boards. Normally with Metals 1, we would do this one here. And then this is a different type of pattern. So these are called a match plate because the pattern is matched on a plate. So this one's a C-clamp. So this one we do, so Metals 2 students build their own aluminum C-clamp, and then they machine all the parts out of steel. So normally this is a Metals 1, but because of what's going on, I'm going to do this pattern. Now this is a simple pattern, and it's going to produce 2 blocks. Okay, 1 per person, so I can double the amount of blocks. And then if you wanted to come in on a flex and just see how this all works and make your own, I can show you a bunch of other patterns. You can do other cool stuff like a big 50-cent piece coin, an eagle, things like that. But this one, it's simple because everything's on one side, the other side is flat. And you'll see how this works. And then we have gates and everything. So we're going to produce this one. It's just 2 blocks of aluminum. So the molding bench, and I might have to, we'll see if we ought to get it different. Opens up, and then we're going to take these, and they go on the little angler and clips, like so. And we have all our tools, and this one, like so. Push that over, and it goes right behind a clip right here, which you can't see. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to pause this. It's going, right?
Uh-huh.
And I can trim that out. All right, so now you're not going to see my pretty face. So we're going to grab the pattern. We're going to set that down onto our work area. And I'm going to grab a flask, which has 2 parts. So I'm going to take the one part, which will end up being the top, and I'm going to pack the, I'm going to pack the bottom first. So your bottom is your drag. So I'm going to put this pins down in there, and then to keep the sand, it's a special sand. I'll talk about that in a different presentation. To keep the sand from sticking to this pattern, I'm going to put parting compound. Okay? So this is basically chalk dust, and it keeps the sand from sticking to the pattern. Okay, and then here's what they call a riddle. It's a sift to sift sand. So the first layer of sand on top is called your facing sand. Okay? So what we're going to do is have a really nice layer of sand on top. So this, okay, will sift out all the hunks. So the only thing you have to do is get it so it covers the pattern. About a 1/2 inch or so. Once that's done, then you can just proceed by filling it up. Now I just kind of go like this, because if I have a big lump, I just kind of break it up a little bit. So basically it's the same as making a sandcastle at the beach. You kind of break things up, okay? Also realize that if we were really doing this in class, that sometimes if this stuff gets really all over the floor, I want you to kind of pick it up. But if it gets in your shoes, and you're going to another classroom that's carpeted, bad things are going to happen because you're going to have it all over. So here's our rammer. Two packs. We'll do chiseled end first, and then this one. All right. Now, if you were at a factory, this would be done all automated, or you'd have a mechanical air-powered, almost like a packing gun, and you go and it would pack it for you. If it's all fully automated with CNC, computer numerical control, it would compress this for you. We got to do it manually. We're going to pack that in. Okay? Don't pack it smooth because we need to have this filled. So I'm going to add some more on top. All right? Then the second pack will be this. Okay, sometimes it sticks to your rammer. Okay, so that's all packed good. All right? And then we want this flat because we have to flip it over. I'm going to scrape that off. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I've got a little spot here, okay, but it's 89.38% flat, so that's good enough. I'm going to get rid of some of my excess because I got to flip this over. All right. Grab a molding board. I'll pull this out. I'm going to put that board down. I'm going to grab hold of the drag. Okay. So now when I pack this other side, that sand's not going to fall out. So then I'll take my cope, okay, and I will put this on top, and I will repeat. I'll just put a little bit there. Okay, now I can kind of see where I've got to cut what's called a sprue and riser later, because I want to hit where that pattern is and where that gates are. So, kind of taking a mental picture of where I have to be. Because this is a simple pattern, we don't have to do a ton of sifting here. Just get enough. I'm going to get the riddle out of the way, okay, for video. But normally I would just throw it back down in there. But okay, it's got some big lumps. I'll break them up a little bit. Little ones, don't worry about. And do a little pre-pack. Chisel in. Notice how I kind of block the sand with my hand so it doesn't get all over the floor. That's one. Sometimes I see kids over here for a whole hour and they're still not done packing. Sometimes you'll get a little piece of stray aluminum. Just get that out of there. Now this side doesn't have to be so great. Done with that. I'm going to strike this off. This. Slide my shovel on there. Get rid of some of this extra. We're good to go. Okay, so now you have a sprue and riser cutter. The riser is usually bigger and the sprue is smaller. So there's mathematical calculations of how big these have to be according to how big your casting is. So it's all done mathematically. That's why you learn math, algebra, advanced algebra. There's force calculations and a ton of that. We're not going to do that. If you go into engineering with metal casting, then you could do that. But just what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to do 2 bigger ones. Okay, and I kind of know it's got to be here, it's got to be here, because I recalled that picture I took in my mind where these got to be. Now you got to just push down and twist until you get to the wood, and that comes out. That looks like a little turd from a dog, I guess. A little hot steamer. Out of the way, I'm going to smooth this out. Okay, so we got those cut. No loose sand. Now I'm going to carefully pull this off, straight up. I'm going to set it down on its side. Okay, so you can see the 2 holes there. Okay, that one didn't quite come through. So then I'm going to check. And then this is a slick and a spoon just to kind of work things. And then this is a foundry trowel. So if you have any big lumps of sand on the edges, you got to get rid of them. Then I'm going to take the pattern off, get rid of the excess. I'm going to set the pattern just over here temporarily. And then I'm going to take, there's an old board that we will pour on. So I'm going to set this right on the floor here. You'll see what that is. Okay, I'm going to check this. There's no big lumps of sand. So this will go back on top eventually. Okay? And the only thing that makes a seal, because there's no gaskets, is this sand against this sand. So if you had a lump of sand here or here, it would lift that up. And as you're pouring molten aluminum in at 1600 degrees, if that was a gap, the aluminum would shoot out, and then it would dribble out the side between your drag and your cope. All right? So this one, there's nothing to do because it turned out really good. The gates are there. So then what's going to happen here is we're going to have metal come in this hole, which will be here, and the metal will flow into both of these cavities, and then it'll get to the riser here, and it'll rise up. So once it's risen up, then we know it's full. As it goes down the sprue hole, any gas, all this air will be shoved out through the riser. So the only thing we have left to do then is to tip this. I kind of go like this. No loose sand. Set this on top. Okay. I set my board down here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up. Okay. Set it over here. And then let me just see. So then that's ready to go. And then the next video will be us pouring.